Hey guys, it's Elan from Inside Fighting, and I went down the rabbit hole of leg kick championships. Now, if you haven't heard of this, I'll explain it right after my weird intro. But pretty much, we're going to look at who has the best leg kicks, which style, and why. And the results might surprise you.
Pow, pow, inside fighting, yeah, dangerous martial arts. Pow, pow, ooh, ah.
All right, so before we get started, as always, if you want to support the channel, please go to insidefighting.com. No, insidefightingstore.com. Why did I sound like Obama there for a second? I'm like, if you want to support the channel, anyway, that's the place to go. Insidefightingstore.com. There's really cool merch. I mean, t-shirts, all types of stuff over there. And most importantly, instructionals. Now, if you don't like an instructional after you get it, if you feel like it didn't benefit you, even if you watch the whole thing, I'll refund you because I want you to feel like you got your money's worth. So check it out, insidefightingstore.com, or just like and subscribe. That's it. That's my pitch. That's my sponsorship, self-sponsoring. Now, leg kick championships. This is this event that came out of nowhere. There's all these new MMA type or fight type events coming out of nowhere. You know, we have karate combat, bare knuckle fighting championships. Even the way that ONE FC is doing their events is completely different than what you would see in traditional MMA. They have small glove Muay Thai. They have nights where they just do, jiu-jitsu, no-gi jiu-jitsu. So combat sports as a whole are evolving into like these subsects that people can get into. Slap fighting, which I don't even want to mention, but we have leg kick championship, the most insane random sport beyond slap fighting, where two people just square off from different styles, sometimes the same style, and just leg kick each other until someone gives up. It's really like in Bloodsport where they trade kicks for kicks with the Muay Thai guy on his ribs, and then he does the flying jump kick at the end and knocks the guy out. Now, I've talked about this before, but what I did is I deep dived into who has the hardest leg kicks and why, and what are the body mechanics. And I noticed Kyokushin keeps winning for a very specific reason. A reason that here, and let me pull this up, a reason that I wouldn't otherwise expect. So let's just play some of this right here. If you look, leg kick championship, low championship kick, low kick championship. Now, important to note, K1 professional fighter, Alex Gonzalez, not a chump. And you'll see body mechanics wise, looks like he has a much nicer kick than Ivan Lopez, in my opinion, just from strictly body mechanics. But look at how he uses his force generation versus the Kyokushin guy. So, I'm going to look at the first kick. Okay, so very interesting. The Kyokushin guy, if you look, sticks on his kick. When he kicks, the leg, his whole body comes forward like a step, and he rests. The leg just comes and rests on top of the K1 fighter's leg. So if you look at how the K1 fighter throws his leg kick, look at the body mechanics here. Look how beautiful. Perfect body mechanics. You're going to see. Bam! Okay, now, beautiful. What he did, everything we're taught to do right. What did he do? Hip forward, stepped out, let his leg lag behind his hip so that he could generate rotational force and whipping force. And then he allowed that kind of pull from his hip to whip his leg. Now, if you look at Muay Thai guys, if you look at kickboxers, that is the standard way to kick. That was a classic textbook, beautiful kick. And the reason it's effective is because you're using immense rotational hip power. So hips and rotation. You're also using a little bit of sinking because as you step, you're in the air, you come down into it. Now, if we look again at the Kyokushin guy here, he's using a completely different power generation. Same principle of stepping out. Barely stepped out, actually. Barely stepped out. What he does is his whole weight comes forward as he kicks. The only other place I've seen this is Muay Thai. He's actually allowing his kick to make him have a step forward. and he's taking all that energy of all his mass and he's driving it forward into you. And he almost just has to rest his leg on top. If you notice, he doesn't actually use his hip as much. He doesn't lag behind his leg is not lagging behind his hip. It's coming forward with his whole body. It's almost like a step. And the step is then dropping into your leg. So all his weight is just dropping into the K1 fighter's leg. And he's actually doing it slowly. There's no speed here. There's no big step out and whip. It's just a forward step. And I have a theory as to why you see Kyokushin guys kick like this and not Muay Thai guys. Number one, Kyokushin is a very close quarter fighting system, even more so than Muay Thai. When you fight Muay Thai and you get that close, you're gonna clinch. In Kyokushin, there are no clinch. Beautiful standard leg kick. See, exactly what you would expect, and full retraction. He brought the leg back to the starting position, and then this guy just steps forward. You see the difference? Steps forward past the kick. Now it's important to note. Again, Kyokushin will fight face-to-face with no clinch, so they need to be able to constantly be moving forward so their kicks can step forward into you. They also do not allow head punches in most of their competitions, so it's okay to step forward right into punching range, whereas a Muay Thai guy, his form is still protecting his head. This is not to say that Kyokushin guys don't protect their heads, but the philosophy and development of power is different. There's a time and a place for a step forward kick. Look at that. And he's out. This is a K1 fighter. This guy's been dominating everyone, by the way, the other K1 fighter. And then he fights him. Can't handle it. So I just want to discuss. There's a time and a place for both. There's a time and a place for stepping and kicking back. For stepping out, doing a classic Muay Thai kick, and then bringing your hip back. But there's also a time and a place for staying tight on top and just stepping in, and you don't need to generate. You don't need to do a big step. You don't need to indicate that you're going to kick or telegraph that you're going to kick. If you look at the way the K1 fighter kicked, it was telegraphed. The Kyokushin guy was not telegraphed at all. He kind of just lifted his leg and dropped it in. Now, I've noticed that what I call, I talk about stickiness. I call the Kyokushin kick a sticky kick because it sticks to your leg and it just drops. I've managed to hurt people literally just lifting my leg up and just dropping it down forward into them and completing the step. I've actually hurt people more than when I throw a full force kick on a horizontal angle into their quad. Because when it's coming from up and I just sink with my whole body and I just drop down and then continue forward, all my body mass is just relaxed, dropping into their leg. It's kind of what I talked about in the Systema video, where it's just this ballistic kind of heavy, relaxed power. Kyokushin guys do that with their kicks. There's no tension in the leg. There's no tension in the hip. There's no big step out. It's a very interesting thing. I actually think it's worth watching one more time, and I'll just talk over it this time. Look at that. Looks technically not great. It's like Alex Pereira, where people are like, he doesn't look like he's hitting hard, and he just drops you. Like, how does his leg kick hurt so much? It's the same philosophy, I think, when he does it. He steps into you with his kick versus that, which, by the way, think about it. When that rotational kick hits and bounces off, the force is not completing through, whereas the force is trying to come through the target even more. It's continuing on its path. It's sticking. There's another guy in this video who does the same thing. He lets his leg kick stick after he lands it. Now, again, I know that what the negatives are going to be. Beautiful kick, but again, highly telegraphed, a lot of rotational force, and comes on a horizontal angle. Comes almost like it's just stepping in on you and just steps forward. No telegraphing and just walks in on you. Again, the positives are immense force generation, low telegraphing, a completely different form of power generation, much harder to block, can be done in closer range, but the downsides are probably not as protective for your face. You're off balance in the second where you step forward, potentially. So there's benefits and downsides to both. I just thought this was one of the most interesting things, and I've been using this Kyokushin kick a lot more. I guarantee you, it feels like, from your perspective of throwing the kick, like, I'm not going to hurt this guy, and then they end up being so hurt. It's the weirdest thing ever, whereas opposed to I'm throwing like these perfect textbook Muay Thai kicks, and the guy's able to handle them. So give it a shot. Hope you like this video. Like and subscribe. Check out Low Kick Championships. Pretty interesting. New sport to check out. And let me know what you want to see next.